Hello everyone, it's lovely to see you this morning. Happy Monday to you. Here I am at home recording an assembly for Yattenden, and it's reminded me very much of those times when we were all in lockdown and we weren't all allowed to come to school, and I recorded lots and lots of assemblies for you from right here or out in the garden because it was lovely. I used this book a lot for those assemblies, Big Ideas for Curious Minds, and I was just thinking about all of the assemblies that I did, and I started off with one which was about wise and unwise responses, and at the very beginning we talked about what philosophy actually is, and I told you that it comes from two different Greek words, philo meaning love, and sophia meaning wisdom, and philosophy actually means the love of wisdom. And that when we think about philosophy and philosophical questions, it helps us to lead wise lives and think, rather than about being clever, think about being sensible and kind and accepting and understanding that life isn't always perfect and it can sometimes be really hard. And now we're all back at school. And I don't want you to forget all those things that we talked about in those assemblies, and perhaps you didn't see those assemblies, but I think they're still online, so you can always go back and have a look. On Friday we were talking a little bit about the worry tree and how you can use the worry tree to help you if you're feeling emotions around worry, maybe some emotions around anxiety or nervousness. And being able to identify those emotions, maybe you get a little bit of an ache in your tummy or you feel like your heart's beating quite fast. And we can approach those situations if we use the idea of philosophy about being sensible, kind, calm and accepting. We can use those ideas to help us with these problems. So what I want to talk to you about today is connected to both of those things. It's connected to being sensible and kind and calm, and it's also connected to thinking about times when we might feel anxious or worried. Now, I want us to start off by thinking about rules, and a particular rule book that all grown-ups have to use if they want to drive a car. And that's the rule book called the Highway Code. And what I'd like to happen now is for your teachers to just pause the video and for you to have a discussion about as many rules as you can that are connected to driving a car and being safe while driving a car. Okay, so hopefully you had a really good discussion and you realised that there are actually hundreds and hundreds of rules around driving cars. Some of them are really straightforward, like you drive on the left. Some of them are much more complicated, like rules around how you use roundabouts or how you park your car and things like that. Why is there a highway code? Well, there's a highway code to keep everyone safe. There's a highway code to keep the roads moving. Because if there wasn't a highway code and everyone just did exactly what they wanted, cars would crash all the time, there'd be accidents, people would get hurt, and nobody would be able to get anywhere. We already have 3 rules at school. Are you ready to call out the 3 rules? Go. Be ready, be respectful, be safe. And those 3 rules we have all the time at school. We've had them for a long time at Yattenden. They're really important. But at the moment, rules are even more tricky. There are so many of them, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the rules about lunchtime. We've got lots of rules around lunchtime at the moment, and lots of people on Thursday and Friday were really great at doing what adults asked them to do and moving around the different zones, and the adults were getting used to the timings as well. And on Friday it was loads better than on Thursday, and this week's going to be even better than that. But some people might be feeling a little bit worried or concerned or anxious or even a little bit cross that all of these rules are suddenly in place at lunchtime and they haven't been like that before. So I'm going to explain to you what those rules are and I'm going to explain to you about why they are like they are, and then hopefully you'll understand really clearly what you have to do and why you have to do it. And then if you are feeling anxious or nervous or worried or even a little bit cross because your time on the Astro has been reduced, you'll understand why. Now, when we go to the supermarket at the moment, there are different rules in place. Rules about one-way systems, rules about wearing a mask, rules about this, rules about that. Same at school. I have to wear a visor at lunchtime. I don't like wearing that visor at all. I can't hear anything. I don't think people could, well, they probably can hear me. I've got a really loud voice, but it feels like people can't hear me very well. So, let me tell you about the rules at school. You're in your year group bubbles. That's quite simply so we don't spread germs from one year group to another year group. We have to stay in those bubbles to make sure that everyone stays as safe as possible. So we've got 4 zones. We've got the hall, the Astro, the playground and the holding area. And each year group is in one of those zones at each time. Now, in order for one group to be able to move to the next zone, each zone has to be empty. So we all have to move at the same time. So the Astro moves to the playground. The playground moves to the holding area just outside the hall, and the hall moves to the Astro. So it goes round in a big circle. It's really, really important that everyone moves at the same time. That's why we have set slots. So when you are in the hall, you can't just get up and go out because there's nowhere for you to go. That's why you have to stay sitting in the hall for a certain amount of time. So I'm really sorry if you're a fast eater, and I'm really sorry if you really love playing football, and I'm really sorry if you love going on the Astro, but you do have to sit in the hall for a set amount of time. It's just how it is at the moment. That's the rule. That's what we're doing to keep you safe. When you are in the hall, you have to sit at particular tables for your year group. That's because they are clean and that's where you need to sit. So years 3 and 6 sit over by the windows. Years 4 and 5 sit closer to the doors. That's the rule. That's what we've got to do. We've got a rota in place so that year 3 leave, year 6 come in. That's how it's got to be. Now, when you are in your side of the hall, you've got to stay that side of the hall. That's why your lunchbox crates are there, and that's why you've got a station to empty your plates. So you scrape your plates, you put everything you need in the bin or for washing, and then you go and sit back down in your place. And you do that all on that side of the hall. You also need to take your cup with you if you've used a cup to be washed. Then you use the one-way path to go up to the Astro, just like the highway code says you drive on the left, we're walking on the left. It's really simple. Now, if we all follow those rules, it will all be absolutely fine. And I'm sorry if you feel like you want more time on the Astro, and I'm sorry if you feel like you want to get up as soon as you've finished eating, but we can't at the moment because we're being safe and we're keeping everybody secure. And in that way, we won't be worried, we won't be nervous, we won't be anxious. We'll all feel really, really safe and secure. Now, if you've got any more questions, you can ask your class teacher now. But from me, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.